Okay, so yesterday I finished Symphogear G, which was episodes 11, 12, and 13 of said season. And I have a lot of notes because there's a lot of shit that happened in these episodes. But the best way I can articulate or express is probably the best word. Best way I can express my thoughts on these last few episodes is by taking a page from the good Dr. Vare. What's something he did at one point in the episode? He just like thrusts, screams excitedly, and then fucking punches the air. And that's... I tried to find a gif of that. I wanted to just like get a gif of that and post it on Twitter. It was like literally me watching the last 3 episodes. I couldn't find it. Oh, excuse me. Instead, I found just a gif of him making a crazy ass face and the face spinning. I'm like, that's close enough. Holy shit, these last 3 episodes were really, really fun. Where do I start? So the best way to start is by talking about the opening. Oh, sorry, I'm really yawny for some reason. Sorry about that. That might happen a few times throughout the video. Actually, weirdly kind of short of breath for some reason. Hold up. I'm gonna take a hit from my inhaler. Haven't needed to do that in a while, but yeah, wasn't feeling quite right. Anyways, back to... Maybe I wore myself out doing that fucking jump. So in the opening, for episode 11, because 12 and 13 did not play it, but the song played, but not the visuals, they added Miku into it in her Frieza Mewtwo form. Not for very long, but it was a nice little touch. And I remember in season 1, they did the same thing, where when Chris joined the party, I believe it was also in episode 11, she was added into the opening. In episode 12, both in the first season and in this season, so I hope this is a trend going forward, in the first action scene of the episode, they start playing the ending theme, and then when you get to the ending credits, it plays the opening. And then there's a point in the finale where they just play the opening as, like, during an action scene. Which I love, just from a trope perspective. Holy fuck, I am really yawny for some... I don't even feel tired. For some reason, like, I actually feel kind of short of breath. This is not good. I'm gonna keep going, but I might need to take another puff of my inhaler later. Anyways, sorry. Trope I really like, but I also really like the music. I think I said in the last episode, I've come around a lot to the ending song. Can say the same thing for the opening song, because I always thought it was fine. But these last few episodes, I was really getting into it, getting really hyped whenever it would play. I can also say, now that I've finished the episodes and finished this season, I think I understand what Tsukuyomi was trying to say when she first met Hibiki a lot better. About the whole, you're a hypocrite thing, you have empty platitudes and shit. My interpretation and understanding of that is Tsukuyomi and her squad, FIS, which I don't remember exactly what that stands for. So, like something... Oh, it's probably Frontier. It's like Frontier Institute... I don't know what the S is. So I was trying to think of like Research Institute. Like, no... Searching? I don't know, but regardless. Seems like their goal is the moon is coming down, and a lot of governments are hiding that fact. To, maybe keep the citizens safe, but more importantly, to kind of cover their asses, and that's a bad thing. We want to save as many people as possible. So we're going to do some janky shit, some kind of terrorist-style activities, which we're not proud of, but, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. We understand we have to do some things. We might have to be hard. We might have to kill some people to save more people. Some Kiritsugu shit. And Biki just kind of showing up and saying, like, hey, I'm going to help people. I got 2 hands. They can hold hands. They can punch things. They can make people stronger. I can do it. And from Tsukuyomi's perspective, she's like, dude, like, we are actually trying to save the world here. You're just kind of talking shit. What are you actually doing? It's kind of y'all's whole fault that this thing is happening because, you didn't stop Fiend properly, or like when you guys actually did stop the moon from falling and knocked it out of orbit, whatever it is exactly. So I feel like it makes a bit more sense, her saying that. And what Vera had said to her a few episodes ago, it's like, the more you fight, the more you kill. I do think a lot of that was just Vera talking shit, pulling it out of his ass. But Vera seems to also kind of be high on his own supply. He wants to be a hero. He wants to be a hero while also being the villain. And not like Lelouch kind of shit, where it's like, I need everyone to hate me for my plan to work, but ultimately it is for the greater good. I understand that. No one else does, and they're not supposed to. This is just more of, I want to take over essentially, I need to kill everybody so I can take over the world and be the last bastion of humanity, and then I can recreate the human race, and I can kind of create it in my own image. Yay! I'm the hero who saved the world! So I feel like when he's talking shit to Beaky, it's a combination of, you are trying to stop me from what I think is right, but also what I think is right is fucking nuts, and I know it's fucking nuts because I'm an awful person, so it's actually kind of interesting in this weird, like, schizophrenic kind of way. But Vera's a blast. I fucking love him so much. Again, there's just so many points in even these last 3 episodes. He's making over-the-top faces, sounds. Like, Sugita's having the time of his life voicing him, and I'm having the time of my life just listening to this dude ham it the fuck up. There's also a scene with him and Maria. Okay, so the Frontier. I said it was like Atlantis because it was coming out of the water. It's more like Laputa, where it's this big castle on this island. At one point, the island starts actively floating. It doesn't quite have the Laputa laser, but instead you can control, even like the mechanism like for controlling shit. I was like, this is very Laputa-y. Did Vera just become Muska? Like, he kind of did. And then instead of like sending all the government dudes to their death by opening the thing, he's using the power of gravity to, like, lift up their ships and then, like, crush the ships, which is pretty fucking badass. This shit is happening, and then there's a point where I think he slapped Maria, like, twice. But there's at least one scene where he's like, stupid! Slaps her down, says some shit about how, like, you can't control it now, I'm the only one that can control it. Then he says it was something along the lines of, like, yes, like, we're gonna save humanity because we're gonna be the last ones left. Like, I am going to be the last man standing. You need me to keep the human race going. And as he's walking away, he's like, yeah, we'll talk a little later about how I don't remember exactly what he said, but for all intents and purposes it was, we'll talk about how we can keep the race going a little bit later. With, of course, the implication being, yeah, he's gonna repopulate the planet with these last few girls. Which, A, very fucking creepy. 2, like, You remember that scene a few episodes ago when he was looking at Akatsuki's pendant around her neck? And it looked like he was looking at her boobs? And then I think it was a couple episodes ago where he's getting very touchy with Akatsuki and Tsukuyomi. I'm like, you know, given what you just said about, like, I will be the last man and you need me and we'll talk about how we're going to repopulate the earth, more or less, like, oh, that wasn't just unintentionally creepy. I think they were actually alluding to the fact that this guy is, like, I don't like this. What a fucking creep. So that shit happens. Let's see, some of the other stuff. I'm not looking at my notes yet. I'm trying to just say everything I can from memory, because I'm not going episode by episode. It's just shit that happened. There's gonna be a point where I look at my notes and just talking about some of the fights. So, Miku does lose her gear, and Beaky loses her gear as well. Chris betrayed them because her thing is like, look, I just want to get the fucking Staff of Solomon. That thing is a problem. That's why Vera's able to do a lot of the shit that he's doing. Part of the reason it's like blah, blah, blah. It's like, I've used it in the past. It's kind of my fault. Like, I feel like it is my responsibility to take care of this thing. So I'm going to betray the team so I can get in with them and then, get the thing back. And if he needs me to fight my friends to do it, to, like, prove my loyalty, I will fucking do it. So that's what she's doing. So at that point, like, Chris is no longer in the party. Miku doesn't have her powers. Beaky doesn't have her powers. It's just Tsubasa. So So Tsubasa takes off on her bike, transforms, and then the front of her bike just turns into a sword. So she starts killing the shit out of some noise by just spinning around her bike and it just slashing them. At one point, I don't remember exactly what it was. Again, we get a good handstand spin, which is still my favorite recurring attack. But the sword bike was really fucking cool. So you get this shit happening. Tsukuyomi has been captured by them. They have a conversation, which is essentially, okay, you said that you wanted to stop your friends from doing stupid shit because what they're doing is no longer actually helping people, right? Like, you think they've lost their way? Yeah. Cool. Will you fight for us then and help stop this? Sure. Fine. So she goes off to help, and then she has the Mr. Garrison death wheel going on, and that's how she's moving. Like, oh my goodness. It's not just an attack, it is a method of transportation. Like, my South Park analogy actually worked. It was surprisingly apt. And so while she's doing that, Beaky is just on her back, and Gajira's like, what the fuck? Why did you go? You said you weren't gonna fight. I said I wasn't gonna fight. I didn't say I wasn't gonna help. I can help in other ways, damn it. Like, she got us there. So this shit happens. Tsukuyomi ends up getting accosted by Akatsuki. Tsubasa ends up getting accosted by Chris. I believe that was where episode 11 ended. The fighting might have started a little bit. Now I want to go ahead and look at my notes, because I wrote a lot of shit that happened in these fights. Okay, so let's see. Akka versus Suku, Chris versus Subs. We've got... Oh yeah, that's right. So like the first thing that happened that I really took note of is when Akatsuki does her transformation. I don't think I have said this at all, but I keep thinking it every time I see her character. She just looks like the Dark Magician girl. Like, there's so many Yu-Gi-Oh! Versions of that character, and there's like Lemon Magician Girl, Apple Magician Girl, like all that kind of shit. She just looks like one of them. Like, not one specifically, but like, yeah, like if you just took Akatsuki and put her on... if you just fucking like slapped her image on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card and then just said she was, I don't know, like Watermelon Magician Girl because she's green, or I don't know, what's a fruit you would associate with death? I don't know, but she's like Death or Reaper Magician Girl. I would believe it. I would have 100% believed it. But she does her transformation sequence, and I don't know if this is the first time we've seen her do a full transformation sequence. So maybe the thing I'm about to bring up has already happened. But at the very end, she makes this happy pose, just goes, death! And I laughed really fucking hard at that. It reminded me a lot of like one of my favorite scenes in the Barbie movie. Like, pink! Like, P! Panic! I'm scared. N, I don't remember the N. K, death. It's like, I immediately thought of that in that scene, and it made me laugh really fucking hard. There was this one part with Chris and Tsubasa where Chris is out of ammo. Just the way she reloaded, it just looked really slick and really cool. It was like more bullets came out of her knees and they just launched back up into her guns, and then she started shooting it. I was like, that's really cool. That was fun. We've got, at one point, Akatsuki just starts dual-wielding scythes, and as I've said before, I fucking love scythes, so dual-wielding scythes is fantastic. I fucking forgot about that. So there's a point, I don't think this was during Suku's swan song, but there's a part where she starts flying, and it's not that she's just floating in the air flying. Her hair blades, one is right above her head, the other is right below her, and they're both spinning, so it's like she's in the middle of a couple fans. That was fucking funny. Like, I had a really good laugh watching her, like, say this shit, like, talking to her friend, straight face. Like, I have to save you from yourself. No, I have to keep you alive. Because, like, if I lose you, like, everything is fucked. And then her being like, no, I have to save you from yourself because you're doing stupid shit. While in the middle of these two fucking fans and just floating. Oh, I was laughing so hard at the fan thing, dude. It was impeccable. It was incredible. I was like, this is peak Symphogear. It's not. I'll talk about peak Symphogear a little bit later, but that was fantastic. Also, there's a scene when she's with Beaky, because like once Akatsuki shows up, she's like, okay, I'll take care of her. You keep going in. You go find Maria, talk to Maria and shit. There was something she said, I don't remember the exact line, but it was the last thing that Fiend had said to Beaky. And I was like, huh. It was presented that Akatsuki was the one that had Fiend in her. Could Fiend be in two people at once? Like maybe Akatsuki got the abilities, but Suku actually got like the memories? That's kind of an interesting idea. And then pretty quickly it's like, no. It was just Suku the whole time. Akka didn't have shit. Like, she thought she set the barrier, that was just Suku. Like, oh, okay, that makes a bit more sense, but that still would have been kind of a cool thing, but I'm not, like, upset that they didn't do it. It's like, okay, you threw me for one there. You got me. Good job. I had to bring that up. At one point, you realize that Chris is wearing a bomb collar, because Vera's like, yeah, I don't fucking trust you, but if you want to help us, then I gotta have some kind of insurance, which there's a point later where he just tries to blow it up, but, you know, Tsubasa had slashed it, so it doesn't work anymore. He's like, why isn't it working? And again, just like the most over-the-top, goofy fucking face. It was wonderful. Oh yeah, I think it was that, like, there's a point where they both, like, Subs and Chris, like, blow each other up, and you don't see them, so you know they're both fine. That, I believe, is when Ver had the reaction. He's like, yeah! And, like, the fucking, like, Kira back pose thrust, and then he does the, like, weird Shoryuken, and gosh, that got such a big laugh out of me. I think I rewound that. I was like, I gotta see that shit again. That was wonderful. That's right! So then after that, you get, as part of the duel between Suku and Akka, they both use their swan songs, which, as they're singing it, like, it's a duet as they're fighting, which is really cool. I liked that a lot, and there's parts where, like, they're singing at the same time, and then they'll both start singing the same phrase. Really cool. Absolutely loved it. So here's the goofy shit. So Suku's swan song basically gives her a mech that she starts controlling, which later, when everyone gets super powerful, it's like, it goes from a kind of mech to like, no, that is a dead-ass fucking mech. What? And then Akka just gets a really big scythe, like a big scythe, and then it has like a jet engine on the back. I was like, okay, that's fucking cool. That's not even, like, really stupid and over the top. That's just really cool. And then she started riding it like a witch's broomstick. And that was the part that broke me. I was like, this is really cool. Okay, that's the really goofy Symphogear shit that I want to see. A dark magician girl riding a giant jet scythe as a broomstick. Have I said yet that these last 3 episodes were fucking immaculate? It's like, I had so much fun watching them and seeing all the crazy shit that was happening, and it gets nuttier from here. What was next? Oh yeah, and then after that, so it's like, I think they kind of go a couple times. I don't know if Suku just, like, used the shield, or I don't remember exactly what she was, but she kind of let Akka know, like, no, you don't have Fiend, I do. I'm the one with the memories, I'm the one with all the shit, blah, blah, blah. And then Akka's like, oh. So my existential crisis was for nothing. The fact that I'm helping the doctor, who I know is a giant piece of shit, so my friend would survive and not have to fight, is for nothing. And by doing this, I am forcing my friend to fight, and by forcing her to fight, her soul is getting slowly eroded, so this is all my fault. Oh. Well, I need to end this fight, and I need to atone for what I did. So she takes her giant scythe, like, throws it into the air. It starts curving around, and she's genuinely trying to kill herself. So Suku sees this, pushes her out of the way, and then the scythe just embeds itself right into her back. Then after this, she has, like, this pretty cool-looking dream sequence where she's just, like, falling. It was very blue. I don't remember if it was almost had, like, an underwater vibe or it was, like, a starry vibe. And then Fiend's spirit is there talking to her like, all right, I don't remember exactly how it went down, but it was something along the lines of, I know that I am Fiend and I'm kind of a massive piece of shit, but you actually seem like a good kid. And Beaky's a pretty cool dude, and I don't want to really fuck everything up, so I'll tell you this. You get one. So she's able to not be dead, and there's a point where Akka's like crying. She's like, Sing, open your eyes. My eyes are open. It's like that got a little bit of a giggle out of me. I actually thought that was a pretty cute exchange, but you know, they're fine. It's very sweet. It's lovely. After that, Chris goes up to Vare, and then she's like, hey, I did what you wanted me to. I killed my friend. Give me the fucking staff. And he goes, no. And that's when he tries to blow up her bomb collar. She's like, yeah, it's not going to work, idiot. So he summons a bunch of noise, freaking out. It's not just like, oh, well, you've fallen into my trap. It's, Chris starts fighting them. What was it called? Like an armor burst, where she just kind of throws her armor and it kills a bunch of shit, but now she's naked. So she wants to go get the thing, but she's also like covering up her massive boobs, and then she like yells for Subs to wake up, and Subs does, and then I think that's what she did, the handstand spin, fuck shit up. Vera pretty like still escaped, but they got the staff, and then Chris calls her senpai, and then Subs is like, you called me senpai? I'm actually really happy about this. And again, it's kind of like a sweet little interaction. Okay, so then at that point, I'm trying to remember everything that happens. So I think at this point, it's Vare goes back up, slaps Maria, pushes a button, which sends Maria's mom just like in a rocket, and she just goes up to space. She goes up to the moon, and Maria's freaking out because her mom just got fucking blasted. Sorry, I was remembering a stupid Friendship is Magic meme as I was saying that. They're like, oh, do you like bananas? You like bananas? Well, you could go bananas on the moon! Like, it's basically just what Vare did. So that happens. Maria is distraught, and then she turns into Gungear. And I think at that point, I don't remember at what point she starts trying to do, like, the Spirit Bomb song. Which, I just realized what I just said. I don't know if it might have been here. It might have been after she loses the Gungear. Because there's a point, like, she's in Gungear. I think she's about to kill Vare. Beaky just shows up, bare hand grabs the spear, and it cuts into her body, and she's like, no, I'm not gonna let you kill him. Starts singing, and then becomes Gungear. Like, she just takes it from Maria, like, no. I lost mine, I'm taking yours. And I totally buy it. Is it explained how? No. Is it probably bullshit that she can do that? Yeah. But at this point, I pretty much believe Beaky can do anything. And like, yeah, it's not surprising anymore. So like, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. What was it that I said the other day with her? Like, okay, you guys are using your swan songs. Well, in response, that's kind of how this felt. It's like, oh, you're trying to kill somebody with my armor. So I'm going to tap 2, mana drain, take that shit, fuck you. Wonderful. There is a point where Maria is trying to get people to resonate with her, to sing, to stop the moon from falling, because it's Symphogear that somehow works, and no one's really resonating with her, and then she starts singing the song that her sister used to sing, and that's when people start resonating with her, and they're like, oh, the phonic gain and shit. I'm like, it's a Spirit Bomb song. Got it. And there's a point, well, okay, I'm gonna put a pin in that, because I really want to talk about that shit a little bit later when we get to the climax, because this is the start of the climax. It's not the craziest part yet. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I think this is basically what gets into it. So, Vare ends up escaping because Beaky transformed, and that's on site for him. He fucks off. Genjuro shows up, and Genjuro's like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. Me and Ogawa are gonna go find him. And when fucking Ogawa finds him, he literally curves a bullet, and then it hits Vare's shadow and, like, binds him in place. I had to rewind that, too. I was like, did this motherfucker just curve a bullet? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And then, Genjuro's just, like, punching giant debris. He just punches a hole in the ground. Vare sets some shit up. He's like, this is my ultimate weapon. Genjuro just punches it and breaks it. Did that work? Is the thing still going? Yeah, it's still going. Well, breaking it didn't work. Let's try something else. But, while they're, chasing after Vare, Beaky, Chris, and Subs are going to fight the Nephilim. Which at this point, like, it's absorbed a fuck ton of energy. It's like, its heart is in the reactor, which is making it super strong. It's just this massive monster that at one point, I'm pretty sure was shooting missiles made out of trees. I definitely got a good giggle out of tree missiles. So this shit is happening. I believe this is when Maria is trying to do the Spirit Bomb song. And it's not working. And then it starts working. And then Akka and Suku show up too. They all do a thing, and then Maria sings, and then she transforms, and now everyone now has, because of the Spirit Bomb song, everyone now has a new outfit, everyone's a bit stronger, now everyone's doing crazy shit. So, like, this is when Suku gets a full-ass mech. There's a part, okay, so the Nephilim start shooting fireballs, and there's a point where I was like, I just want to see Hibiki punch a fireball. She shouldn't be able to do it, but she's gonna. I gotta see it happen. And then, yeah, it fucking happens. And like, Hibiki punched the fireball to keep Maria safe so she can sing. Okay, bam, just punches a fireball. Like, yes, you gave me, like, as only like maybe 5 minutes after I thought, I need to see this. The show fucking delivered. It was wonderful. So this shit is happening, and then there's a point where Fair's like, you guys only have like 6 swan songs. You think that could actually defeat the Nephilim? I think it's Beaky that's like, no, because the whole world is singing, and we have like the Spirit Bomb song. This isn't 6 swan songs, it's 7 billion, motherfucker! And then they beat the shit out of this thing, which then goes like super angel god mode, because if Fiend could do it in season 1, this thing could do it too. So I'm also expecting, yeah, everything is going to have a super final form. They just look like an Ava Angel. So they start fighting it. So they activate the Staff of Solomon, which opens up the Treasury of Babylon, which of course just makes me think of Fate. Like, you can give me that one. That's like, yeah, that's just Gate of Babylon shit. The goal is we're going to punch this thing into the gate and then close the gate. So they do that, and I think it's like, it ends up dragging Maria down with it. She's like, it's okay, I will close it from the other side. And then all her friends go, nuh-uh, follow her and the Nephilim into the gate, where they start fighting a bunch of noise, are fighting this thing, which is still kind of absorbing their energy, so it's really hard to beat it. Like, okay, phase 1 of getting it trapped in this alternate dimension is a success. Now we just need to get out. Well, if we can open a portal with the staff, let's open another fucking portal. So they open another fucking portal. They're like, okay, we just gotta get out of this while it's distracted. And then the thing just goes right in front of the portal like, no, I'm gonna get out. So it's trying to get out. As they're trying to get out, they're like, okay, how do we do this? How do we go and essentially beat it into the, like, beat it to the portal without knocking it through the portal? So everyone holds hands because it's Symphogear. Of course, we got to do our friendship circle, which now is more like a friendship line. We get our friendship line. They say some shit. You get this giant silver hand from Maria, this giant golden hand from Hibiki, and then those two clasp hands. And I think it's Biki and Maria at the same time. Like, the shortest distance through any 2 points is a straight line. And they all just, like, launch forward, punch through the Nephilim. And then from that point, like, punch through go into the portal. And the portal is still there. The Nephilim is fucked up, but it can't move yet. And they're like, okay, the staff is right here. We're right here. We just gotta grab the thing. Does anyone have enough energy to go grab that fucking thing? So that's when the helicopter lands and Miku just starts fucking running down the beach, grabs the Staff of Solomon and just chucks it into the fucking sky, which it goes into the portal as the portal closes, and then there's this fucking singularity explosion. And it was wonderful. It was amazing. It was incredible to watch. I actually felt kind of exhausted having watched the last few episodes. Like, holy shit. Holy fuck. That was beautiful. Was there anything else I really wanted to say? Oh yeah, and like, as they're doing all that shit, the opening is playing in the climax. Like, that's fucking dope. There was a point where Biki did actually summon the spear. And I was like, holy shit, she has the spear finally. I kind of prefer her just punching shit, though. Like, I hope she uses it, like, on rare occasion, because it's cool to have, but I just like her punching things. And, yeah, I believe that was it. And that was the final episode. Those are the last few episodes. Now let me take that pin out of the wall, because I said something about peak Symphogear, and despite everything I just described about the climax, that is not peak Symphogear. There's an argument to be made that all that crazy shit tops the Tower of Babel moon laser. In terms of spectacle, it did, but in terms of just me, like, giggling like an idiot while watching it, it was one of those where it's like there was no individual moment that topped it, but I think overall it probably did. But I watched the first 6 minutes of season 3. I didn't watch the whole episode. I was like, I just need to watch the first scene. Now that I've gotten to this point, now that I have context for who these people are, let me just see it. I'm not gonna really talk about it. Probably, like, when I actually fully watch the episode, I will say more about it. The first 6 minutes of GX is peak Symphogear. That beat the Tower of Babel moon laser with just how insane and over the top all of it was. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. I told Clay, I was like, I'm not even gonna try to pitch you on the entire show. I just want you to watch this. And like 2 minutes in, he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, it gets crazier from here. It was wonderful. But now that I have finished G, kind of what are my overall parting final thoughts? Well, I did that at the start of the episode with the Dr. Bear. Because that's really what it is. It's goofy. It's silly. I feel like season 1 has probably a stronger emotional core. Like, Beaky dealing with her own weakness and not knowing what the hell she is doing, and slowly getting stronger and more competent. Chris's backstory and how she is actively struggling with the idea of having friends and letting herself trust people and rely on people, given the way she has been abused in the past, and even in the season by Fiend. You've got Subs dealing with the fact that my best friend and partner died, and now someone else is using her power. And that's very confusing to me, and it's like, it just bothers me. And this person is so weak, and this person is so stupid. Why did my friend have to die to save you? And I know I shouldn't say something like that, but I can't help but think it. I feel like there's actually like a really strong emotional core. In G, not as much. Like, you do the shit with Beaky slowly fucking dying is really interesting. The stuff with our antagonists, like Maria doesn't want to kill, Akka later getting her existential crisis about how, oh, my soul is getting fucking eroded. It is there. I don't know if for me it's quite as strong as it is in season 1, because I feel like season 1 puts a lot more focus on that. However, I still think what they do with it in G is good. I think G has better antagonists, because Fiend is fine. I mean, she's fine. She's hot as fuck. But you kind of don't really know what you're dealing with. And then the first real scene with her is her just torturing Chris. I'm like, okay, this is just a horrible person. But I don't feel like she's that entertaining with how horrible she is until like the last few episodes when you get like the Tower of Babel moon laser. Like, oh, what? But in this, you get the other Symphogear users. You get Maria, Akka, and Suku, who are more sympathetic, are more interesting. They get songs, and their songs are really fucking good. You get Ver and his faces and his voice acting, which, horrible fucking person. Maybe worse than Fiend. But so fucking entertaining every time he is on screen. It feels like just the action and the set pieces and the goofy, dumb bullshit factor is up so much overall. Again, the Tower of Babel moon laser is something special. But, I mean, the season literally starts with Beaky using a jet engine-powered punch to punch a train car hard enough that a monster explodes. And that's the start of the season. Like, it's very fun. And I feel like it was like throughout the season, I enjoyed it. I would say I did enjoy it more than season 1, but it wasn't like, this is amazing, this is impeccable. Like, this is still good, it's still fun. Then the last few episodes, with some really good moments in between, like when Beaky gets her fucking arm bitten off at the end of episode 5. Like, that's probably been one of my favorite moments of the show. But these last 3 episodes were wonderful. They were impeccable. It's like, okay. Oh man, that was good. Like, that was good. That was a good time. I loved this. And if season 3 is starting with peak Symphogear, I kind of can't fucking wait to see where it'll go. Now, I'm going to wait a bit. I'm not going to watch any today. I maybe will watch an episode or 2 tomorrow. I'll probably, like, really make sure I get started by Friday. But, that was a good fucking time, and I'm really, really glad I watched it.